Welcome to another episode of My Best Fail. I'm your host, Diana Lanham, and I am very excited for you to meet our guest today. He has great energy, and he has a wonderful story about overcoming a very challenging, very rough beginning. Please welcome my guest, Raymond Power. Raymond, I am so happy that you're here. I've been looking forward to this for like 2 weeks, so I'm so glad you're here. And I cannot wait for people to hear your story. I've only heard little snippets of it, and I find it very inspirational. And I can't wait for people to see how far you've come. And your star is definitely on the rise. But I think let's get into it. Why don't we start with, I want to hear a little bit about you. I know a little bit, I follow you on social media, and I've seen some of your interviews, but just kind of tell me a little bit more about you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back and kind of get into your past story.
Okay, yeah. I'm an actor and a producer. I own a company. I make movies, make content. I motivational speak, give back to the youth, and just try to tell my story so I can inspire people to, where I come from, so they can see that they can do whatever they put their mind to. So I'm a father.
Of 5 children.
5 children.
Yeah, don't gloss over that. That's amazing.
I got an amazing partner, and we do everything together. And yeah, so I'm busy, but it's good type of busy.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm already inspired. Just with that. If that's all you say, I'm totally inspired.
That's cool.
So I do have to ask this. What are the ages of your children?
Okay. I better remember this, right? So the oldest is 15. And then I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and my daughter, she is 4.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. They keep us busy.
That's a loud household.
Yes, very
and
loud.
your 2 dogs.
And
I heard
2
you say
dogs.
you have 2 dogs, too, yeah.
Yeah, and grandma's there, too, so yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God, yeah. Well, talk to me about, it's pretty amazing, especially you and I were talking earlier about, we both kind of entered this business about 2018, 2019, right? So it is amazing from, if that's when you started, and the things, the titles that you just kind of rolled out to me, that's amazing. That in just such a short period of time. I want to find out about how all that started. What I have found in a lot of times with the stories that people tell me, especially if it involves a fail or a setback, quite frequently there is some sort of trauma or some sort of murky backstory that leads them up to that point. I'd love to have you go back to where you feel like the story started for you and just kind of let us know how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, okay. So I would say this, where I'm at now, where it finally took the change and started, was one where I was at my lowest. I was addicted to drugs. I was a gang member, and I was at my lowest. I had no opportunity. I had nothing to look forward to. It was glim. It was depressing. I didn't want to live.
How old were you?
Let me see. I was 21, almost 22, I want to say. 22, 23. I'm a little murky on the age, but it's right before my son was born. So,
oh, wow.
And that's what got me up off my, button.
That was your wake up call?
That was my wake up call.
Yeah.
I was rock bottom. I had nowhere else to go, and I realized I was having a kid. I had just did some drugs that night, found out I was having a baby, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this to him. You know what I mean? So.
But isn't it amazing that you had that clarity?
Yeah. I'm glad I did, because not many people get that clarity. Kids, nothing changes it. You just stay in that rut. But knowing that I had somebody that I had to take care of, knowing what I went through in life, and knowing that what I did in those next moments would determine what they were going to go through in life. It was like, that was enough. I was ready.
It's pretty amazing, especially in your state of mind and how old you were.
Yeah, definitely.
How long had you been in that life where you were gangs and addicted and all that? How long had that been going on?
So gangs, I grew up on the east side of Tacoma. My grandma, I had a good household at her house. My mom's house was kind of bad. It was like trap house, drugs, everything you could think of. I could stay at my grandma's, but I always ran back to home. Just no matter how good it was over there, I always wanted to go home. And when I was home, it was just nobody was there. I had no role model, nobody to look out for, no father figure. It was hard for my mom, and she went through things as well. So I was just on my own. So
Yeah.
I was running the streets, doing whatever I wanted to. And so gangs were like my neighbors, you know, those were the people you looked up to. When you don't have like a male role model as a kid, you look up to, you go search for that. So these gang members were like father figures. They were like, I wanted the feeling of, I can't explain the feeling, but when like you go to your parent and you do something good, like you throw a ball or you make an accomplishment, you get love back. So
Yeah.
I go do something bad and they give me that love. So I'm ready to do anything bad as long as they like, look, guess what I did today?
Well, because it's
like,
attention.
Oh. Yeah, they're
it's
like,
attention
oh,
from a
homie.
father figure.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. So I was ready to do whatever. So I did that for years. And it got worse as I got older. I started like raising the ranks and getting known, and just it wasn't a good thing. And then I got shot. Got shot twice in my leg. Over gang banging, I've been shot like 4 times. I was shot twice in my leg, in my hand. I ricocheted off a tooth. I'm missing a tooth, which I'm very self-conscious of, but now I'm not as much.
But aren't you glad it ricocheted off your tooth and it didn't ricochet off your brain?
Went through my hands, went through my legs, and that's. I think I was 19 when I got shot, and I went to the hospital and they prescribed me some painkillers, and that's what took me on a whirlwind of a drug addiction because.
Oh, so you weren't addicted before that?
No, I was. I mean, I smoked weed, and you know, that's a lot of people in the hood. They smoke weed, they drink. It's a form of like trauma suppression because we see a lot of bad stuff. Our friends are killed. Cops stop just to mess with us, beat us up, throw us in the wrong neighborhood. You get jumped, you get shot at. It's like trauma every day. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a break from that. At home, your mom's getting beat up by somebody. I mean, you see all this terrible stuff. So anything to help alleviate that pain, you're gonna do. So weed, a lot of people smoke weed because it helps them. You're self-medicating, and because you don't know any other way. There's nobody to tell you, hey, you should go to counseling. I'm gonna go to counseling. You're gonna make me look weak. That's how you feel. You're not gonna go to counseling. So you self-medicate and you do what makes you feel better. So so then I got shot, and they handed me pain pills, and those pain pills like turned off everything, all the feelings. You know, you feel good. You're like, oh man, I'm gonna keep doing this. I don't feel, I don't care. I'll do anything because I have no conscience because I'm messed up on drugs. So it got worse. And
that probably created a whole situation where you then had to get the pills and feed the addiction.
Yeah. Stealing, doing whatever I could to get them, selling, just doing whatever I could, and not being a good person. It came to a point where I wasn't allowed at my family's. I was rock bottom. You know, I didn't have anybody, nobody but myself.
And was it always like, were you born into that? I mean,
my mom had a lot of issues, a lot of bad guys in our lives, a lot of abusive men. Used to beat her up, beat us up as kids. It was constant drama.
So your father wasn't there?
No, my father was never there. Funny story. My dad, twin Puerto Rican guy. I was always told my dad was somebody. I in my life I heard like 3 different people was my dad. So in life I didn't even know what I was growing up. So that's something in my head growing up. Like you don't even know who you are.
But who was telling you?
My mom, my mother. So she went through a lot. She was beat. She got on drugs. She wasn't right herself. So to raise a boy and my sister, it just wasn't what it was. It just was a bad spot. You know, she's better now and she's doing well, but growing up it was tough. So we had a lot of drama and a lot of bad things that happened to us living in that house.
So I remember when we first chatted, when we first talked, you had said that because of your mom's condition and her addiction, that you spent time as a little child with your grandmother.
Yeah.
And that was a good life.
Yeah, my grandma.
Talk to me about that.
My grandma owned a restaurant. She put me in private school.
And how old were you?
So I always wanted to live with her. My mom sent me away to a lot of places. Like I would end up with thinking I'm going to McDonald's because I hadn't eaten in a long time, and then I look in the back and I'm going home with some strangers, and I end up staying with them for months, crying, trying to get on the phone, like, where's my family? Finally, my grandma comes and finds me, and it's like, where has he been? And takes me back, and these people I'm
And how
staying
old were
with,
you?
I was like maybe 7, I think, 8, 9, maybe. I don't know. I was little though, younger. And this family I'm at is like making me like their household slave kind of. I was shoveling they had pigs. I had to shovel the poop every morning, and they locked their refrigerator. It was like terrible. It was like crying every night, holding a picture of my mom. It was messed up.
Oh my God.
It was messed up. So
And was your sister with you, or did
no,
you get separated?
my mom would keep my sister, which wasn't good, but that makes me feel like crap too. Like, why does she
Yeah.
get to stay?
Yeah.
Because I was older and I knew what was going on. But yeah, I stayed at that house and then a couple other houses that were good, but I just wanted to go home. Finally, my grandma took me back, and I went to private school. I think it was like 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah.
And private school was good, but I was already, you know, acting out in school, trying to be tough guy, trying to, just not doing what I should have been doing. So I got kicked out of a lot of schools for fighting. I had a problem with male authority figures. So it was just like, dealing with that.
Yeah.
And being at my grandma's, which was cool. She gave me a normal life for like 4 years, and it was amazing. But I ran, I kept running back, finding a girlfriend, staying with people, couch surfing. Did that for years of my life, just staying house to house wherever I could stay. Just like being a rolling stone. So it's crazy.
Is she still in your life? Is she the grandma that's at the house?
Yeah. We take care of her, so she's
She must love the kids.
Yes,
The
yeah.
kids.
I mean, she's older and there's
great.
5 kids,
Yeah,
so
that's a lot.
she loves the kids, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
But,
Well, she's a grandma. She can say, here, now they're yours again, and she can go in the room. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the best thing about being an aunt and uncle and a grandma and grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, so I'm sorry. That's
Oh no, it's good. I've
know,
dealt with it. I think I've dealt with it. Probably
right?
not, but I will figure it out.
Well, it's, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but it is truly amazing that you survived that.
Yeah.
And not only that you survived it, that you're alive, but that you survived it intact.
Yes.
Because, there's some people who could not, they might be alive, but they could not have survived that mentally, and they are probably in a very bad place.
And I see that every day now with my friends that I grew up with. A lot of them are in prison. Just seen a friend walking down the street the other day that's homeless, just talking to him, some best friend grew up with. It's like a lot of them just never could bounce back. They're addicted to drugs. There's very few of us left that are doing recovered, doing good. There are a few of us, and the ones that are doing good are doing like amazing. They're owning companies, building $1 million homes. I mean, it's.
Are you talking about yourself?
No, I'm talking. No, I'm one of those people.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's amazing to see the ones that have overcame it, but there's few and in between.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, so I find it amazing that you were in that state, and the thought of having a child was the blessing that actually gave you a mind shift, and you pivoted, especially at being so young.
Yeah.
Most people would have just turned and ran away and said, I don't want to have anything to do with that. Or wouldn't have just been in a state of mind that they could have even dealt with it and even recognized that it was a decision they had to make, right? So let's go back to that and talk about how that was for you, and when you shifted your mind and what you went through. And
I always wanted a kid, I guess, searching for that love through gangs, through drugs, just searching for something. So a kid was just like everything, I guess. It was like everything I was missing. It was a way to start a family and have a normal life. So there was no way I was going to pass that up. I was like, that's what I searched for my whole life and never had the opportunity. So when I had the kid, I was addicted to painkillers, opiates, a hard thing to get off of, very hard. You go through withdrawals, you get sick. Most people don't get off pain pills.
Did you do that alone?
Well, at the time, I mean, basically alone. But I went through treatment, so that helped. But I had to make a decision and just have that mindset. When I make a decision on something, I go for it. If that's leaving somebody alone, if it's getting off drugs, if it's stopping cigarettes, if it's being in a gang and climbing to the top, it's I don't know, it's something. When I make a decision, I go for it, and I go all the way in, and I don't stop until I get to where I need to be. Like in college, I started college later in life, but that I'll get to that. I started changing my life. I got off drugs. That was the first step. Was depressed for like 2 years, gained a whole bunch of weight. Like I got very big because I was depressed. I stopped talking to all the gang members, all my friends. So you're like,
So you
leaving
you
everything
left your
you
life
know.
behind.
Yeah,
Even though that was your decision and it wasn't a great
Yeah.
life, but it was all you had.
It's all I had. It's all I
Yeah.
knew. I didn't know anything else. I knew that. I knew how to hustle. I knew how to, you know, those were my homies. Those were my friends. Those were the people I cared about. So it's like, and you're ingrained in that gang culture where you don't turn your back on somebody. You don't leave the gang. You don't stop doing that stuff. So to do that, you're fighting with yourself. You're thinking, oh, I'm a sucker. I'm a punk. I'm weak. All that stuff. Even though you're bettering yourself, you think you're not. You think you're this terrible person.
Yeah.
And when you get out, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I tried that, and that does not work. You have to step all the way out. So I did that, and then
Plus, there's so many people in your old life that don't want to see you change.
No, they don't.
So for you to not change, you have to not succeed. So they don't have any interest in having you succeed at things,
No,
right?
they think
so I'm
you
sure
can't
you're
do
getting
it.
a lot of guilt and pullback and all that
like,
stuff.
come kick it. Why aren't you in the hood? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be out here with us. But I was like, I can't. I got to do this. I'm having a kid. So I did that, and I went to like DSHS social service, and I was like, I want to do something. Give me something to do. So I started working. First, I was a felon because I got in trouble when I was younger. About 19, I went to prison. I got a year and a day.
Wow.
My sister was in a room with a guy, and the guy was doing something she didn't want him to do. I caught it, and I beat the dude up. And I was already a young gang member, so they were looking for anything to get me locked up. They want you locked up. They want to have a case on you, even if you're not doing anything. You're out there with the boys. They're gonna get you and treat you like one of the boys. So I was a felon. I just got off drugs. I didn't have any schooling. I dropped out of basically middle school. Never went to 8th grade. So I didn't have anything to do. So they started working me at like a old mattress factory where I was tearing apart dirty mattresses, like recycling them. And I was like, I hate this. This is just ridiculous. It's gross. There's like bed bugs I had to strip down every day before I came home. But I was making an honest living. I was changing my life. So, but I went back.
You were doing something.
I was doing something.
You're doing something.
I went back and I was like, I need to do something. They're like, why don't you go to school? And I was like, oh, I never thought that was an option, higher education. All right, I'll try it. I went and got my GED. I got it in a week, and I got above average scores. Like I scored very high, like honor roll, whatever it's called for GED. I scored above everybody else, and the teacher was like, dude, you need to be in school. Like, how do you know all this? And I think it's from private school. They teach you ahead of the curve, and I had those 4 years in private school. So, I mean, I guess I was always a smarter gang member. I was always, doing something to teach us something, not to just, we were going and we were taking boxing training and just training our minds. And it was always, I led in a different kind of way of not self-destruction, but like protection of the neighborhood, protection of each other. So it was always something ingrained in me. But, so I went to school. I was like, okay, I'm not going to work at the bed bug factory. So I'm good off of that. So I went to school. I went to Bates. I enrolled in the facility electrical engineering program. I became the vice president of the whole school.
What?
Yeah, I became the vice president. I was like, I want to do student government. Why not? And I did it. I ran. I got elected. I became a class delegate.
For the student body.
The student body, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
student body, yeah.
There's no way you became
No,
a vice president
not the
of the
president of the school, but the student body. You run the school, basically, the student body.
No, I get that.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. I won an award. It's called the Transforming Lives Award for transforming my life. And that was like my first, I got a teacher and finally a mentor that I never had before.
Yeah.
And he showed me, like the first couple months I was acting a fool. I almost got in a fight. I was still doing the old me.
Yeah.
And then this mentor set me down and he was like, dude, you have so much in you that you can't see, but I'm going to tell you. And he took that time to talk to me, and I stayed with him after class, and he explained to me things that I never heard before, and it lit a spark in me that was like, I started believing in myself.
Isn't that so amazing? Having a mentor in
Yeah.
any capacity in your life, it is amazing the results and the changes that can happen when you have somebody who takes you aside, sees something in you, because that praise alone is a big thing, but then just says, puts you on the path and says, this is what you're doing, this is what you're capable of, and can help guide you a little bit. People who have mentors or have somebody that believed in them, even your grandmother, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It started then.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are so incredibly lucky because they're the ones that move forward faster and usually healthier. I wish there was some sort of mentorship program that all of our kids
Everybody
in school
has to take.
Like, yeah, you get assigned a mentor, whether it's all through middle school, all through high school. But mentorship is such a powerful presence in especially in young kids' lives.
Yeah, mentors changed my life, and they still today change my life. It's like the biggest thing that I can look back and see that actually has been life changing is somebody
who just believed in you.
Yeah, just believed in me. And he believed in me, and I just went full force ahead. I finished my degree. I got Associates of Science. And I did all that stuff. I won those awards. I gave speeches. And
if you're a true actor, getting an award probably just fed that monster.
Yeah.
Because actors love awards.
I knew I always liked acting, but I didn't know acting till then. I did that. I thought that was going to change everything. I was going to get a job, and it was going to change my whole life. It did not. I got out. I couldn't find a job because of my criminal record. I had these degrees. I had everything that I could possibly imagine. And it did not help. So I sat around for like a year, depressed and just unhappy, and gained a ton of weight and was way overweight. And it was just, I was miserable. And I just went through all this stuff. And I got all these awards, and I thought it was just going to flick a switch, but it did not happen. So.
But life is all about timing.
It is. Yeah. It is. So I wasn't where I needed to be at the time. I wasn't mentally prepared for where I had to get mentally prepared for my next step. Yeah. I went back to DSHS, and I said, this ain't working. I'm unhappy doing this. I actually don't want to be like an electrical engineer. It's boring as well. So it was not like what I wanted to do. There was dollar signs when I went to go get the degree, and it was like, oh, this is a fast track to becoming financially stable. And it was like, it seemed like the right track.
And how old was your son?
When I finished school, it was in 2013. So he was like a year, 2.5. I was expecting another kid by then, so another child, my other son.
And how was that going? How was being a young
father? Was great. I come home every day and meet with my kids. It was beautiful. My kids are healthy. My kids have never wanted for anything. They've never had to go through what I've gone through, and I've made sure of that today. Every Christmas has been great. Every holiday. I mean, I'm not playing. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to make sure that they get what they need, and that's always been a good thing for me.
Were you always a single father?
No, I was married at the time. She was there for quite a long time, about 10 years.
That's a lot.
We built something, but we both come from that life. And as I'm getting out, she didn't want to get out and kept making mistakes. And eventually it got so bad that it was just, it was me and my kids. Get right or get out, basically. And we're not together anymore, and I have my kids, so that's how that went. I'm not gonna speak bad, even though I could, but I'm not gonna do that. On here, but but I have my kids.
And 10 years is a long time to commit and try to make that work.
And make it work and come from where we came from, and it's like, come on. Yeah. Sometimes you got to grow up and handle your business. Yeah. And if kids can't make you do that, I don't know what's going to make you do that, because your kids are everything. They're an embodiment of you. So get it together. But hey, to each their own. I get it. People go through stuff, and sometimes traumas are so bad you just can't shake them. So.
I was just going to say that some people's demons are so powerful that they will never overcome them.
Yeah.
Even if they think that's the one thing they want more than anything. There's just something about certain things that you cannot overcome it.
And everybody reacts to trauma different. Like 100%. Something little to you or me could be gigantic
everything
to
to
somebody
something
else.
else, right?
So you can't judge people on
That's why you never judge people
Yeah.
ever, because you never know
What-
what someone is going through.
Yeah.
You know, like what they're going home to, or what they're going to work to, or just for them to even function as a normal person at work, they're masking,
Yeah.
right? I try as much as possible to give people grace, even when it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Because everybody is going through something.
Something.
Yeah.
I mean, even the people higher in their careers, I deal with all kinds of people, and
Everyone.
and at home, it's not what you think half the
Yeah.
time.
Nobody has a perfect life. Even
No.
people who have the most perfect life, there's always something going on too.
Yeah.
Or there's a struggle that they're dealing with as well. So.
Exactly.
All right, so take us back. So your kids are about 2.5.
Yeah.
And you said no more bed bugs, no more engineering, and so where did you go from there?
I went back to DSHS and I said, this sucks. I'm not happy. I need to do something else. So they put me at this place called Courage 360. It's like counseling. You know, I was giving speeches. I was working with the Goodwill. I was like, I want to do this. I want to work with people, And so I started as like the receptionist person there, and I worked my way up to a housing case manager, where I was helping with housings, helping with grants, housing people. So I was like, I came from the front desk in a matter of months and became a housing case manager with no degree. I mean, no degree in that. You have to have a social service degree. But I got to as far as I could, and they're like, you got to go to school and get a degree. And I was like, okay. And I thought about that. I was thinking about going to school for cooking because I love to cook, and I thought that might have been an option. But then I was like, no, I'm going to do this social service thing. So I went to Pierce College, and Pierce College changed my life. Like,
Really?
the biggest change I could ever imagine. I enrolled in the social service mental health program, which I completed. I have a degree in social service mental health. I have a direct transfer associates with a DTA, and with a social service mental health certificate. I also got my high school diploma, which I never thought I would ever get. So I have a GED, a high school diploma, an associate in science, associate in arts, and I have a social service mental health certificate.
Well, wait a second. You said a GED and a high school diploma?
Yeah, because I got my GED to go to college the first time. But then when I went to Pierce College, they said, you can get your high school diploma. And I was more excited to get that than I was my degree, because that was something I never, ever thought I would have back. And I was always like, oh, everybody got their high school diploma, I'll never have it. But I got it. And I was like, that was so amazing. It's like anything is possible after that,
Yeah.
But there, social service mental health was amazing. This Courage 360 closed while I was going to school, so the funding stopped. So that was not an outlet to go back to. So I had to think for the future. So as I'm thinking of stuff, I ended up taking an acting class. Or no, I didn't take an acting class. I took a public speaking class. And in public speaking, they have you do improv, right?
Yeah.
Doing that improv, I felt so alive, and I was like, this is amazing. I love this. I was like, something I never felt inside of me. So I was like, I'm gonna take an acting class. But why not? I've always wanted to act when I was a kid. I used to carry cameras. We used to make superhero videos and music videos when I was at private school, but it never seemed like something you could do.
Isn't it? It's so crazy when you're going along like this path, you're trying this, or people are saying, oh, this is what you're good at, and then all of a sudden, just by chance, you either meet somebody or you're doing something and you start going down another path, and you're like, this is who I was supposed to be. You know what? And I remember what I was going to tell you earlier. I think that you've always showed that you were a leader. You said that you were basically a leader and a protector in the gangs.
Yep.
And then the fact that you got things accomplished so quickly when you were, going with DSHS, and then you started doing the programs.
Yep.
And then when you went to Pierce, and how you kind of raised pretty fast in those ranks,
Yes.
right? You're clearly a producer.
Yeah, definitely.
You're clearly a leader as a director.
Yeah.
So all of those skills, that skill set, you were learning that, and you didn't know it.
I was prepping, yeah.
And then you were prepping for the acting class.
Exactly.
And it actually, probably the acting class is the thing that actually propelled you into the whole world that you're in now.
It did. Acting, I took the class.
It's so amazing.
Took that class on a whim. I met my partner there, too, that I'm with today. We've been together like 4 years now. The acting class changed everything. I met another mentor, my acting teacher. I found my people, the people that people that I would have never hung out with back in the day. We've been like, oh, they're nerds, or I'd have been.
They're weird.
Yeah, they're
weird drama kids.
But I'm weird too, so I just didn't let that out. I didn't let that part out of me. I secluded it and hid it. I took an acting class with Greg Gilmore. He's a kind of method teacher, and he said. He's like, so your whole life you were acting. You were like the greatest liar alive because I was always putting on these masks my whole life, just trying to get through it. So the acting class was just amazing. I did live plays, and I raised the ranks in acting. I ended up becoming the president of the student government at Pierce College. I won a top scholar in the United States award and got flown out to Long Beach to speak in front of 4,000 people.
What were you speaking about?
Just my life, how I changed my life and how I overcame everything, and how Pierce College helped that. And then I won like the best student award, and I just did so much at the school. I accomplished so much as the president. I started a food bank there for people, not just at school, but in the community. I got free bus passes to the whole student body. I installed security cameras out in the parking lot for students. I did so much stuff at the school. We were the most successful student government that has ever been there. So it was like outstanding. I was on the front cover. I'm on billboards right now in buses for Pierce College and all the stuff I've done.
Gosh.
So it was like Pierce College is like, I don't know, it was like something
It was
that I
transformational
needed at that time. Yeah, it was
Isn't it
beautiful.
interesting that when you were younger and you were living that thug life,
Yeah.
and you were actually feeding off of society, basically, right? And now, if you look at your track record and all the things that you've accomplished, you've been giving back, and you've been involved in social services, and you've been creating ways that you can do good for the community.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you're aware that's not lost on you. That
I feel like I'm giving back. I took a lot from the community. I feel like, and now it's my time to give it back. I've done stuff with at-risk youth. I went and taught a creative writing class in the children's prisons, because that's what they are. They're children's prisons. Children shouldn't be in prison, just saying. And I did that with the creators of Leap. It's a big cartoon, and the creators of Cars, and I got to bring them in and let these, well, it was a Zoom, but I got to let these kids see me, somebody that talks like them, walks like them, that's been in the same prisons with like people from Hollywood, and inspire them to be like, wow, this guy's us, and he's in Hollywood doing stuff with these kind of people. So, and then just working with at-risk youth and giving back. And as a producer, I try to give opportunities to the people I meet that are good people. If I know you're good work, if I hear there's a job, I'm gonna try to get you the job, dude.
Yeah.
Because I want you to benefit. You know what I'm saying? If good people should get good things. I feel like
I'm all about that too. Like connecting people up and being a connector.
Yes.
I tell everyone around me as much as I can, if you need something, or if you're looking for a mentor, or you need a connection, say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing how many people that you just say something randomly to, and they're like, oh, I know somebody who can help you with that. Or, oh, I was just doing that last week. I can connect you and hook you up with that.
Speak it into existence.
Speak it into, all about manifesting.
Yeah, me
right?
too. That's
but I love being a connector. I love the feeling I get when I can bring two people together or bring an opportunity to somebody. And so connectors.
I almost feel selfish because I get more out of it than they might be making tons or whatever, getting more, but I feel good about it.
Yeah,
people helped me. People had my back. I wouldn't be where I was if I didn't have good people around me. So,
transformation truly, for it to be a good experience and for it to work at its best, be its most beneficial, you cannot do it alone.
No.
And especially you can't go through something that you did alone. You have to have people around you, because you have to have people that are going to catch you when you fall. I know that sounds so cliche. Are going to say, keep going, we believe in you.
Yeah,
and you got this. And no, it wasn't as bad as you think. Well, maybe it was, but you'll get through it, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to, you're not going to be defined by this, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to give back and tell other people who are in that position just to be a cheerleader sometimes.
Yeah.
And say, and or also we, how we view ourselves so harshly in that inner dialogue that we tell ourselves. And then people are talking to you and who believe in you and they've seen what you've done. And they're like, that is not how I view you.
No.
You've got all of these strengths. You are so much more than what you tell yourself. And if you don't have people around you like that, it is very hard to even risk or try anything.
Yeah, it's hard to believe in yourself.
Well, because you think you're going to fail.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to tell somebody. And you have to be with somebody who believes in you enough that when you do fail, they're like, this is just try one, try twice. You're going to get up bigger and better.
And push to fail.
Yeah.
Like, push you to fail. I found that the stuff I'm most scared to do, when I go do it, I win big.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff that I'm like terrified to do, I try to run towards those things.
Yeah.
Because when I do those things, I grow the most. And if
Yeah.
I fail and do it again, I grow even more. So,
Yeah.
people to push you to do the stuff you're scared of is important.
Yeah.
Like I did the other day, my buddy, another actor friend, I met on a movie just out of nowhere, become a good friend of mine. He was like, come do this ruck. A ruck is something you go walk with weights on. And I was so scared to do this thing, dude. We ended up doing 30 miles with a 30-pound pack carrying cinder blocks for 16 hours at night in Seattle.
Why?
I have no idea.
Why?
I don't know.
Just to test yourself to see
and
if
I
you could do
didn't
it.
train or anything, and these guys been training all year, and I completed it, and it was so profound. Like when I do other things now, it's like I can do literally anything.
Because
like,
I did that
I thought I
thing.
was gonna die. I thought it was over. I was like, I gotta stop, but I kept going. These guys pushed me, and it was just like things like that, just doing stuff I'm scared of that I don't think I can do, has made me like feel like I could do anything. Like
Well,
at
that was the
school.
reason for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you can complete it, you can do anything.
Yeah, I can do anything.
Yeah.
Just like becoming the student government president or going to school, stuff I thought I could not do. And I finished. There was times at school that I did not think I was going to be able to pass math or do something, but I asked for help and got help from people, and I was able to overcome it all. So it was like, things like that are amazing.
Did you have, well, I'm sure that you suffered from imposter syndrome.
Always, still to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, every day I suffer from imposter syndrome. Don't think I should be here. Ask my girls, should I do this? Am I good? Am I okay? And a million people could tell me I'm good at it, and I'd be at the table with some like big names now, like A-listers in Hollywood now, and connecting people and doing deals. And I just did a producers summit, and
I saw that.
it was it's like in a different country. I was on a Zoom, and I'm there with Aldous Hodge from Hawkman, of the new rock movie, and his brother Edwin Hodge, and a couple other producers that are like huge.
Yeah, no, I recognize those names.
It's a panel, and I'm one of the producers on it, and I'm like, what the heck? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to copy what they're saying in a way or something, but I was there, and I showed up, and I was terrified, didn't think I belonged, but I connected with them after, and I'm able to talk to them, and I'm a producer. I'm doing big movies worth millions of dollars, and I don't say that to brag, but I say that to I came from a drug addict, selling drugs and doing nothing, was attempted suicide and just hated my life, and now I'm like in a room with these people that I've looked up to all my life. So
and also think that you're a peer.
Yeah, I'm a peer.
Yeah.
Even if I don't think I am, they believe it, and they believe in me, and they encourage me. So that's cool. But it all goes back to the acting class, like where I'm at now and the company. I took that acting class and I did so good that I got a scholarship to the Seattle Film School, Creative Writing Film School, and I'm not a writer. It's like, I'm not going to go here. I don't really write, but I took the opportunity, leapt, and went to the writing school for weeks. And I met my co-owner of Mind Right Entertainment, Jonathan, Hollywood screenwriter Jonathan Kesey. He writes stuff for Will Smith. He makes Hollywood movies. He's a big time, right? And
So just so you know, I'm a screenwriter.
Yes,
Did you know that?
Yes, I do.
So I'm just like fanning over here.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
he's amazing.
Yeah.
I took his class, and I didn't think I was gonna be like a writer or anything, but I connected with so many people there. I told him my story, and we started making a TV show based on my life. It's called Give Me Shelter.
I was going to ask you about that.
We had it almost sold before the pandemic to a streaming network, and then stuff got weird. But we're back to making that on top of, that's on our slate of movies and stuff we're making right now.
So you've already shot some episodes of that,
No,
right?
we shot like a teaser, like just like a little thing to get people talking about it. But
and it's going to be a series?
Yeah, series based on my life in Seattle and the homeless epidemic and things that I went through. So it's pretty cool.
Raymond, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is amazing.
NPR did a story on us, and it was just like mind-blowing. And that was when I first started in like 2019.
Yeah.
It like happened right away, right out the gate. So that was like, whoa, how does it get better than this, you know? And connecting with him and then becoming a friend, not just another mentor. He says, I'm not your mentor. I consider you a friend, but I'm like, you're like a mentor, dude.
Yeah.
And then he introduced me to another guy, Josh Taft. He's a director, and he did all the music videos from the 90s, and he works for Nike and all the big, he does commercials for all these guys, and he's become my friend. This guy's worth like $33 million, and I go hang out with him, and I'm friends with his family, and I'm going there tomorrow and help him set up a tent in his backyard for his daughter's birthday, and you know, these are my friends now, and they consider me their friend and their peer, and it's like,
it's
like,
astonishing.
why do I deserve it? Like, I feel sometimes I don't deserve it.
Well, you know what? It's because even if they know your backstory, if they've heard your story and stuff, they are thinking about you and relating with you how you are now. Mm-hmm. And so we are always thinking about the person that we were, and not necessarily, if somebody found out, or like if they really knew, but we always think about that and how long it took us to get there. And sometimes you're always still trying to get there inside, but they're relating to you, to how you are now and the things that you're accomplishing now, right? That is a very cool place to be in. It's a very hard place when you haven't done it a lot, because you suffer from imposter syndrome every time you're meeting with them, right?
Exactly. Like I'm on the boat with them, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, and they don't need anything from me. I mean, they're not benefiting off of me, but they, like he told me the other day, like, I'm not asking for anything from you. You're not giving me anything. I have all the money in the world. He's like, you're my friend. I believe in you creatively, and I want to create with you.
Yeah.
And we're going to go film a docu-series for Annie, and I can't say much about it, but it's already greenlit, and I'm going to be his AD on that. And he believes in me. He let me shoot this big, giant commercial where I got to cast people, my friends and stuff. And it was just, and they got paid a lot of money. So it's like, these opportunities, I'm able to spread it around. Like I've been collecting people, and like George Clooney, I heard a story about him when he made it big. He got a duffel bag with $1 million and gave it to all the people that helped
I heard that same
life.
story, and I was like, that's awesome.
I want to do that.
I
don't want to just give them money. I want to create generational wealth for families. You know, I feel like I might have the opportunity to get somewhere that I never thought possible. So I owe it to me and to the people I care about to get there, because I want to get there so I can get the people around me there. That's more for me than me getting there.
This industry, I'm sorry, I just cut you off too. No. But this industry, it really is who you know.
Yeah, it is.
And you could be so fantastic, and you could be pumping out great work, but it truly is who you know. Because there's a Raymond, and then there's a Raymond too, and for some reason you're the one who makes the connections and you get pulled up, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm always cognizant of that whenever I feel like I've gotten an incredible opportunity or I've been lucky with something. I always make sure, if like I've collected people too, when you know someone's out there doing the work, showing up, whatever, and they just haven't had the opportunity, that's when being that connector, and it's like, I have something for you.
Yep.
You have to call this person, or you have to go and see that thing, right? I love that. And you know what? True leaders lift people up.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
do. They know that it's not all about you and you winning and stuff. Part of being a leader is you have to lift people
give
up.
Other people
even if they surpass you and they go,
yeah,
you have to give people opportunities.
They're good at it. I can't do everything for me. Like, I want this, I want that, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna, you got to get the people that are good at it to do it.
No, I'm all about servant leadership.
Yeah.
I truly believe in that model.
Yeah.
Well, it is so exciting, all this stuff. Like I said, just to hear your story and to meet you in person, finally, that's what was really exciting. But also because I'm also in the film business, I love hearing about all this stuff going on. And it's not just, that creative energy tends to really really connect with other creative energy.
For sure.
I mean, and it's exciting when you're in a room full of creatives,
Exactly.
right? And everybody's kind
Yeah.
of doing their thing, and we're all talking about the business. I love that. It's one of my favorite things.
That's where my happy place is.
Yeah,
to be
me
around
too.
other creatives and creating stuff for the love of it. It's amazing. I mean, they say do what you would want to do free, and I do that. You know what I mean? So and it's amazing. And now I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I've shot movies and been in over 40 movies, and I'm starring in studio movies and acting along big actors.
You have to stop. I can't stand it. I'm so jealous. You have no idea.
Like crazy.
I am green with jealousy and envy, just so you know.
It's possible. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
It's possible. Show up, do the work, don't give up. Just keep
work
going
hard,
at
be
it.
kind.
Yeah, be nice.
And be curious.
Yeah.
And learn to take risks so that you're not risk averse.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity's out there, and if you give up, you're never going to get there.
No, it could be right around the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hard on myself. I feel like I'm not doing a lot. People think I'm doing everything, and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing anything. But then, I got to remember that I'm doing a lot, and I'm grateful for it. But, I'm not perfect. People probably look, see social media like, oh, he's killing it. He's got it all together. But it's not like that. I still fight with stuff every day. Still have a family I have to take care of. Still have a house I got to keep up. Still have bills I got to pay. Still have friends that I got to look after, and the relationship that I got to make sure is good. So it's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. But it's just...
You've also worked really hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like people can be, cast stones or say things or, oh, look at, he's doing all this, whatever. Well, yeah, look, you're doing all this stuff because you worked hard and you put in the dues and you survived.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just like Snoop Dogg when he did that thing at that commencement where he said, I want to thank me.
Yeah, I love that.
I want to thank me for showing up.
I
want to thank me for working hard and never giving up.
He deserves it. He put in the work. He put in the effort. He comes from the same places I come from, and it's not easy to get out of that life. It's addicting. It's like a drug. It's like another type of fame, like hood fame. I know it sounds funny, but it's like that. You're like a hood star, an icon. You're known, and maybe not for the right thing, but you're known to your people. And now the people that I thought,
well, because you belong to a community.
Exactly.
Because everything's about human connection.
Exactly.
I don't care what people say. That's well, it's my belief, but it's all about the human connection. And if you're not going to get that in good, healthy ways, you're going to get them any way you can.
Any way you can.
Yeah.
And now those same people in my neighborhood are like my biggest, they call me from prison and tell them you're inspiring me to do better, and awesome. Getting their stuff together. I get inbox messages every day like, dude, I'm getting out the streets, I'm focusing on music, I'm making movies, I'm doing this because I seen you do it. And I'm like, oh, no, that's all you. But, it's cool to see that just me sharing my story. Because before, I was scared to share my story. I was scared to tell people I did drugs. I was embarrassed. I kept it hidden. But it's when I fully embraced it and was like, you know what, I don't care anymore. This is me. I wasn't a good guy always. I've done bad things. I was not perfect. Do I regret some stuff? Yeah, probably, but there's nothing I can do to go back and change that. I did what I did. Yeah, you can't.
You just can kind of spread the love as much as you can now.
Give back.
Yeah, and give back,
Love people, do my best. I mean, I can't change anything. So you can come for me. I've already told you everything I've done. I really don't care. I'm just here to elevate my family and the people around me and try to inspire hope and people like me or people not like me, whoever. If I can do that, that's a win to me.
Well, especially when you said you were talking in the children's prison, when you were dealing with kids who are, that's the age where their spirits get crushed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And for them to hear that just for them to hear that there's somebody out there who's going through the exact same stuff that they're going through. Yeah. You know how that is when you feel like you're the only one going through it, and you have some friends and this and that, but nobody's going through exactly what you're going through with your level. Mm-hmm. And then when you meet somebody who had the same life, had the same struggles, and to see that they stepped out of it,
it gives you hope.
It gives you hope, and
when I was young, I didn't have anybody like that. Nobody. Yeah. They'd tell you, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, but it's not that easy. You didn't know what I've been through. You don't know what I'm going through. Everybody wants me to label my gang member friends as bad, but they've been through a lot too. You know, they've gone through a lot. They've been oppressed. They've been neglected. They've been taken advantage of. I come from a community predominantly African American. You know what I'm saying? They get harassed by the police. They, you know, nothing against police. I'm actually good friends with police and help good stuff. You know what I mean? But it's just like, we've been through a lot of stuff, you know, and you want to say, oh, we're just bad and point your finger at it, but it's not like...
There's imperfect people everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
There's imperfect people everywhere in every career, every discipline, everyone. There's people who are doing their job and doing their service, and then there's people that aren't,
exactly.
Right? But it doesn't mean everyone's doing
exactly.
that.
Right? There's always...
That's probably all we should say about
exactly.
that.
There's not always good people everywhere, but you should give people a second chance. I
Yeah.
believe second chances are important.
Yeah.
We're all young once. People make dumb decisions. You know, just get over it. I don't know.
Well, I do that. I do that now, you know, because I have a tendency, because my mom was really judgy, and so sometimes I get really judgy, and that is one thing that I really work on, and especially when I know that people have struggles that you don't even know. Right?
Exactly.
But I, you know, also try not to think that I can help somebody or that they should do the thing that worked for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we don't know it all.
But also what worked for me isn't going to work for somebody else because they're a completely different person, right? Yeah. But actually, so kind of going back, I digressed a little bit there. Your inspiration and you going and visiting the children's prison, the adult prisons, or just going to colleges and schools and doing motivational speaking, for me, you're the kind of story that I want to hear. That's what inspires me. When I know that people have really, really struggled and they actually overcame their demons or overcame somebody trying to crush them, or, you know, there was nobody there who was giving you any hope. You are inherently, you were born with a hopeful spirit, and it's really cool to see. It's exciting. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, just before we wrap it up, what do you have on the horizon? I know there's some things you can't talk about, but actually, no. What do you hope that you haven't done yet that you would like to maybe do, or whether it's a type of job or a new title, or if it's an adventure? Do you have anything that you're like, oh,
I want to direct for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
well, be careful. It's very hard.
Yeah, I get it.
But I love it.
I want to direct. That's a big thing I want to do. I want to just keep making movies, no matter what that means. Acting is the first for me always. But I'm loving producing. I just want to give opportunity to people. That's my main thing. I want to give opportunity to people and make a way for people. That's big.
Well, there's a couple programs for kids at risk.
Yes.
There's a couple of those. Have you been involved?
I have not. Well, I work with at-risk youth, but in like film and stuff, I would love to get involved in that.
Yeah.
And arts are so important, and I think they need to do more with that in school. And if I focused on arts and somebody had let me explore that when I was a kid, who knows which way I would have went. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. You know, I'm just real quickly digressing for myself.
Please.
I have a story. I remember when I was going through junior high, I had I always wanted to get an art because I love drawing and painting, all that stuff, and I just never did. Mm-hmm. And I remember I took a art class where I went through the painting and the sculpting and the different things, and I loved like just sitting for hours and painting, and not great at it. Definitely wasn't going to make a living at it, but I loved it. And I remember the teacher that I had, the art teacher I had, I would come at third period, which was before our lunch, and I would sit there and then I would stay. And I would stay through my lunch, and sometimes I would stay through the rest of my classes. And she would let me sit there sometimes, knowing that I was skipping my classes because I was lost in an art project. And I'm telling you, that class and having her as a teacher shaped my creative life. Because I had never done that before. I don't know why I never had drawn or painted really, but it changed me. And her belief in me and her allowing me, she recognized another creative spirit. Oh my God, I hope that she did that for so many students, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Just little moments like that,
like that,
right? And I have other moments, you know, I got into even directing and producing. It's because someone I met in a 3-day period whispered in my ear and said, Quit waiting around for other people to option your film or do it for you. Just start filming.
And that's what you said about Speak It. That's how I got in producing, and why I own a portion of my company now, is because I was interested in it, and I reached out and I said, hey, I want to produce. How do I do that? I did a commercial with Josh, and I asked the company that I was working for at the time. I was like a talent scout, and he was like, it takes a lot. You got to know people. And then he had this project that I'm doing right now, and he's like, here, go ahead, try.
Yeah.
And I made this from an idea to a full-fledged movie with funding and A-list talent, and because I spoke it into existence and I asked, and now I'm a co-owner of the company. You know, I own a quarter of the company. So it's like, speak it, believe it, and go for it.
No, I'm all about manifesting, saying it out loud and putting it out in the universe. And just so you know, taking something from startup to scale is a superpower.
Yeah, definitely. Because I had nothing to go off of but the script and an idea of the talent, and I got all the talent that they asked for secured. I got funding. I mean, a lot of funding, like something I didn't think I could do. Like,
I didn't want to hear about that. My whole life is about getting funding.
I know, it's hard. It's when you have big names
the films I could do if I had funding.
You got to get big names attached, and then funding will come.
Okay, so if I call you up and say, hey, Raymond, I got a script for you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay,
Let's
awesome.
knock it out at the park. I'll do my best.
You say that now, but you're gonna be telling Chloe's, who is it? Don't take her call.
No, I would never do that. No, I'm down. I love to create and producing.
I live for it. I am so incredibly lucky that I have the opportunity to do this. I do wish, two sides of the coin, I wish I had started this sooner. Oh my God, even if I had 5 to 10 years.
Oh man.
Because I feel like, God, what you could have accomplished in 5 to 10 years, right? But the thing is, the films that I've done, the stories I've written, even doing this, it's because of who I am right now.
Yep.
Like the person that I am right now in my life, and all those experiences and stuff like that, who I am now has brought it to bear for this. And so, you know, part of me still wishes I had started earlier, but I think life is all about timing.
Yeah. I went through all that stuff I had to go through to get to where I'm at. And everything that I've been through has been like a tool in my tool bag.
Has been leading you to the show.
It has helped me do everything that I'm doing. Bring emotion, no emotion, get people. It's just everything has helped me get to where I'm at. That's why I think you just got to experience life. Everybody's in a hurry to get where they think they should be, but there's no time limit or clock that tells you have to do something by now. Just experience things, watch things, eat things, create things.
Just start it and
do it. The producing, I watched a TV show on how they produced The Godfather, and I was like, I can do that. I'm gonna do that. I called him and said, I want to produce. I just seen this movie. Me and my girl can do this, and we took that model from that show and we did it. I had her act as my secretary, and we handled the business, and we got it secured. And now we're producers, like full-fledged producers, producing commercials and big movies and owning companies, all from watching a TV show, just because it inspired us.
Well, you know, though, and you're lucky, no one's saying, oh, you're lucky. You're lucky because you have an affinity for being a producer, an actor, a businessman, right?
Yeah.
And you're lucky because you found your passion.
Yes.
Because there are other people just like you who never find the thing that feeds their monster or drives them, right?
Yeah.
And that, I think, is actually one of the hardest things, especially if you have drive, but you can never find, you just don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why it took me 3 degrees to figure out what I did, but just gotta keep doing stuff. You know, just take a class, watch a YouTube video, just try things.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? You ain't got nothing to lose.
100%. I am so excited about you being here and people listening and hearing your story, because it is very inspiring. And I know you hear that all the time, but I'm all excited. Like, I just can't wait to what am I going to do next, right? So you're inspiring me.
Thank you.
I am going to call you, by the way.
Let's do
We're going to work on that. I'm putting that down on my list.
I'm so down. Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best. I know your star is rising, and I know, even if not everything happens, we were talking about this earlier, that in this business,
you never know.
Things that are certain are not certain. And the bottom drops out a lot. But when it all goes right and the collective gets together, and that's everything. Yeah. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. If you have a story that needs to be told, send us an email at contact@mybestfell.tv. If we think it's a good fit, we'll reach out. I'd like to say a special thank you to my crew today: Director of Photography, Nuke Suinchot. Editor, Min Lee. Technical Producer, Jessica Milanis. First Assistant Camera, Min Lee. Gaffer, Billy Miller. Sound, Brian Binning. Production Assistants, Chloe Ciara and Thiessen Bailey. Makeup, Marissa Loya. And catering by Sarah Bailey.